Hi, everyone. I will present our research called Towards Automated Detection of Biased Social Signals from Content of Clinical Conversations. I'm Feng Chen from University of Washington. The quality and social dynamics of patient-provider interactions in clinical encounters are significant factors in shaping patient satisfaction and healthcare outcomes. Previous studies have found that implicit bias exists in such interactions towards underrepresented groups, and this leads to inequitable healthcare. As shown in the example figure, implicit bias can due to various factors and have many pathways during the patient-provider interactions. However, these biases are usually subtle and hard to detect. In this way, measuring patient-provider interactions become more important to reveal these differences. Traditionally, patient-provider interactions are manually coded using framework like Router Interaction Analysis System, or called RIAS. RIAS capture both verbal and nonverbal social signals in clinical conversations, reflecting effects such as warmth, empathy, and assertiveness. In our prior work, we used RIAS to label social signals in clinical conversations recorded from primary care visits. We use data from EF studies, which is conducted between 2002 and 2006, which aim to improve healthcare providers' communication skill. This study captured audio recordings from real-world primary care visits, include 48 clinicians from 12 clinics, and record over 1,460 patient visits. And this provides a valuable resource to study the patient-provider interaction in real clinical setting. Previous work from our group focused more on the nonverbal cues towards right social signal prediction. The nonverbal information include cues such as tones and pauses during the conversations. Let's take a deeper look at the social signal coding. There are 21 social signals for both the patient and providers, like assertiveness, engagement, and nervousness. Assertiveness means confidently aggressive and self-assured. Engagement means being receptive to react properly to others, and this is also known as responsiveness. Nervousness or anxiety means showing uneasiness or discomfort. And as shown below a screenshot, experienced coders manually label the 3 to 5 minutes video slice and rate each signals from 1 to 6. As you can see, manual coding is quite labor-intensive and prone to observer bias, and this is quite hard to scale. In this way, for this study, we focus more on the verbal information from patient-provider communications. We use automated speech recognition plus natural language processing to build an automated pipeline to predict social signals. We then validate the accuracy and the fairness of our pipeline and explore possible biases in social signal predictions grouped by patient race. And here is the data set. As we've just discussed, the data was collected from the EF study, and this includes audio recordings for real-world primary care clinical visits. In our study, 782 individual visits were used with available demographics and audio files. Due to the scalability of manual transcription and coding, 91 of them were previously transcribed and labeled. They were segmented into 512 3-minute segmentations, while the other were used as the validation set, including 691 patients and 2,144 transcript segments. We will train and evaluate our model on the training set and explore the potential biases from the validation set. The original EF study has 8 categories of race and ethnicity. As white is the dominant group, and some categories like Hawaiian or Native American has very few samples, we classified the other into non-white group. And here is the pipeline of our workflow. We start from the audio files, and we got manual labeled RIAS social signal scores. For the transcript, some of them are manually transcribed, and all the audio files were performed automatic speech recognition plus the speaker derivation to get the automated transcript. The automatic speech recognition was performed using OpenAI Whisper. It is a tool that transcribes audio into text with high accuracy across various language and accent. And we use PyNote to do the speaker derivation, which separate and identify individual speakers in the audio file, help to track who is speaking and when. With this transcript and the scoring, we then train the NLP model, including BERT, Robota, and sentence BERT plus multi-layer perceptron to get the social signal predictions. As we found that the scores are heavily clustered near the mean score, we convert the 1 to 6 scale regression task into the binary features below the average or above the average. With the score, we then explore the potential bias in the conversation. We first evaluate 3 models on the manual transcript. The result is from the average performance of 5-fold cross-validation across 17 social signals. As 4 signals have very small positive class, so we exclude them from the prediction. You can see that the BERT outperformed the other 2 in every evaluation matrix, so we will use BERT as our model for the later evaluation. We then validate using ASR transcript compared with the manual transcript. The word error rate for ASR is 31.8. This is higher than what is reported from OpenAI Whisper, as there are manually de-identified text in the manual transcript, and the audio recording quality varied across the data. So this word error rate is reasonable. You can see that using ASR transcript reached almost the same level of accuracy and weighted F1 compared with the manual transcript. Interestingly, it has even higher AUROC and AUPRC compared with the manual one, indicates that the model has better learnability, especially for the imbalanced distributed signals like patient irritation with very few positive samples. After that, we assess the fairness of our model in 2 steps. First, for the ASR part, we check the word error rate differences between white and non-white group. And we perform t-test and found no statistically significant difference in word error rate. For the NLP part, we examine the demographic parity difference between white and non-white group. This measures whether the model predicts positive outcome at a higher rate for one group over another. We conduct a chi-square test, and 0 lies in the 95 confidence interval. Therefore, this demonstrates that our pipeline is fair across the racial group, and the differences detected in the social signals are not due to algorithm bias. And here is the differences we found in the social signal prediction. White patients receive higher level of provider warmth, engagement, attentiveness, and dominance compared with non-white group, while white patients also displayed higher level of patient nervousness and engagement, while lower level of patient interactivity compared with non-white patients. According to the Cooper's paper, RIA's social signal score act as a marker and are associated with implicit racial bias in clinical visit. In this way, the differences in social signal scores may suggest implicit bias in the clinical visit. The higher level of provider engagement, warmth, attentiveness towards white patient may suggest implicit bias in patient-provider interactions, that non-white patients tend to receive fuller communication. We also found that a higher level of provider dominance towards white patient. This contradicts findings from Cooper's paper. We speculate that it may reflect a compensatory mechanism for a hidden nervousness that the white patients express, suggesting that providers may exert control in situations perceived as stressful. There are several limitations and future work for this study. So we will apply our model on more recent dataset to explore the changes in patient-provider interactions, as EAF dataset was conducted around 2 decades ago. We'll also explore the demographics of the providers and explore the influence on these interactions. Finally, we hope to integrate the nonverbal and the verbal information together to analyze patient-provider interactions integratively. And here's the conclusion. The ASR plus NLP pipeline successfully automated the process of real social signal score using the verbal information. Our automated pipeline reached both high accuracy and fairness in EF dataset, and the differences in the level of social signals between racial groups could indicate biases in patient-provider interactions. By advancing the assessment and understanding the bias in healthcare communication, this study contributes to a broader goal of improving patient-provider communication quality, promoting healthcare equity, and ensure that all patients receive respectful and empathetic care during clinical visit. We would like to thank the support from 2 grants, and we also want to acknowledge the student coders for the EF dataset. We also want to thank Dr. Rauter for her guidance on manually coding the recorded visits using real social signal score. And thank you. Here's my contact information and our team's website.